Tinubu directs Shettima-led National Economic Council and governors to work on palliatives for subsidy removal. National Assembly consultant counsel President Tinubu to tread cautiously over emerging leaders of 10th Assembly. And later on the show, Ndume says 75 senator-elects are backing Akpabio for Senate presidency. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Asuko James. If you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. Let's begin with the vexed issue of fuel subsidy removal and its attendant effects. President Bola Tinubu has directed the National Economic Council, NEC, led by Vice President Kashim Shettima, to begin the process of working on interventions to ameliorate the impact of subsidy removal on the people. The governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, stated this after leading some major oil marketers on a courtesy call on President Tinubu at the villa. Julie, we'll be talking palliatives now, yes, because it's so obvious that there's no going back on the removal of subsidy.
So you need to people need to know that it's not a decision that Asiwaju can take. Nigerians need information. This is already backed by law. And the decision was taken by the government before him. Because I see people giving the impression that Asiwaju was the one who removed, so he didn't remove any subsidy. In fact, there has not been any policy on the part of the current government on subsidy, beyond what he just said, that subsidy is gone. And he was only reporting what had happened. Because there was no subsidy, monies appropriated for subsidy in the 2023 budget. Nigerians need to know this. The National Assembly took a decision based on what the executive wanted to remove subsidy and set a date. So it's done and dusted. The decision taken by the former administration. Asiwaju just happened to be the government that has supplanted the old government and is doing its own time that was supposed to take effect. So that's just the thing. There's nothing like going back. It can't even be contemplated at this stage. It can't be contemplated. Because people talk about money appropriated for it up to the end of June. Have they seen money? Money can be in the budget and
no cash back.
Not cash backing. Have they seen money when we are broke? Are they going to deny the usual people used to tell us we are not broke, we are lying? Can they come out now and say Nigeria is not broke? When in one quarter, you spend 118% of what you earned. The first quarter of last year, 118% of what you earned, you use this to service debt. That means you took loan to service debt.
That makes sense.
So a country that is prosperous, that is not broke, do they do things like that? And ordinarily, you are spending 96%, cumulatively for that year, you spend 96% of what you earned to service debt. So is that how to show that you are not broke and you are not earning enough? You are not earning enough and you are still paying subsidy. It will just collapse on everyone's head if we do not take the right step. And thankfully, before Asiwaju took over, that decision had been taken. It's just like saying, okay, we don't want PIA again. Whereas the Petroleum Industry Act had already been done by the previous administration. Can you reverse that kind of thing? So this is the situation that we found ourselves. Nothing like going back. Labour should know at this stage that, yes, they can ask for
we can be talking about palliative.
Good deal for their members. Salary raise, Asiwaju already even talked about it when he was speaking with APC governors that, look, the current salary that workers are earning is not in line with present-day reality. So it is perfectly legitimate for Labour to say, look, given what is going on, you need to increase our salaries. And TUC has led the charge. They've asked for, I think, 200,000. From 30,000 to 200,000. They can begin to talk. You know, it's like you want to buy something now from an Hausa man. and it tells you, Kaban Dubu Ashirin, you now begin to. That's not how much he wants to sell it.
No, negotiate.
Yes.
Negotiate.
From that Dubu Ashirin, you can actually.
What's Dubu Ashirin?
It's 20,000.
20,000. Ashirin is 20,000.
You can still buy it
2,000. Okay.
You can still buy it 2,000.
Okay.
On a good day.
Okay.
But he wants to use that to test the waters to see whether you have deep pocket and you don't mind. So let them. It's 200,000 from beginning. It can go down.
It can go down to 45
to something more realistic. So it's a good point for them to start. It shows that they are very ambitious labor leaders. So.
As well, some people will argue that when you talk about palliative, that the Shetima committee should be able to, put in place something that will cut across. Because if you are talking about 200,000 for civil servants and, the number of people in the informal sector and the number of people in the private sector, that, it might not be something that will cut across at the end of the day, just for civil servants and, state and federal, workers. So, some people are saying that government should be able to put in place with what will affect everybody directly. Like somebody said it on radio this morning. He said the palliative he wants from government is stable power supply. That if that power supply is so stable, if you can have 24 hours.
But that one too, they've actually prioritized that one too. So do you want government to also go back and begin to subsidize power? For us. But truly, I think that person made a lot of sense there. Because if people don't buy petrol for generator, it solves a major problem for them, Because if you look at some of the palliatives that they were talking about, providing buses, But if you look at those buses, majorly who will use the bus will be maybe civil servants. If you say 100 buses, for instance, or 1,000 buses, for instance, some of them, most of the people that will be using will be first civil servants will get a chunk. Then what of the other millions of Nigerians? Where are they going to? Where are you going to now start putting those buses? So I think the committee will now begin to look at, okay, fine, how many millions of people, how many buses will they buy? Because I remember the meeting they had, the depot owners, when they had a meeting with the president, you are saying one bus costs about 100 million to get. And that is, they are not using petrol, but it's a compressed natural gas, that they will be using, or diesel. And don't forget, diesel has also been deregulated. So once you begin to buy 100 million naira buses for them to begin to apply the road, how many will you buy? So they have to sit down and begin to look at it. Don't forget that Nigerians will also be, apart from transportation, moving goods and services from one place to the other, people will also be looking at food. So what palliative measures are they going to, bring in place so that when I go to the market, if rice is 20,000 in a bag, I should be able to see rice at 15,000. So they have to look at it. Maybe they have to bring back the commodity board or something where people will be able to go there and buy food at a cheaper rate. So the committee has a lot of work to do. It's not something they will just come up with. And at the end of the day, Nigerians will begin to say, they didn't gain from the whole subsidy removal thing. You have to sit down, look at, okay, what are the major needs of Nigeria? This palliative has to be immediate. It's not something that they will look at in future and say, no, it has to be immediate. What are those immediate things? Is it electricity? Is it food? Is it transportation? They now begin to look at it and say, okay, fine, we'll have to subsidize it and make it cheap, very cheap, in such a way that Nigeria, at least it will reduce the sufferings of Nigerians.
Do you know, before we talk about the palliative, I was shocked. I saw one video earlier today. I think I sent you that video. And somebody interpreted it in French. People were abusing Tinubu in Cameroon. I was like, what?
Yes.
So this is happening.
They've been enjoying subsidized fuel for
the past how many years? Nigeria has been like Father Christmas to Togo.
They didn't want it to end. Our borders are porous, and once you can settle law enforcement agents, you will move hundreds of tankers across the border, to sell fuel to people. A lot of
subsidizing
fuel smuggling in different guises, and the interesting thing is, you look at Niger Republic, for example, they can almost not survive without Nigeria. And they share border with, I think, about 7 states or so. From Kebbi in the northwest right up to Yobe in the northeast. That border with Niger Republic. In all of these places, there's a lot of smuggling going on. Their economies are virtually reliant on the Nigerian economy. So, and this fuel smuggling has been on for so long. Yes, our friends who have been stealing from subsidy bills are telling us that, oh, it is smuggling that is causing. But if you remember the analysis that the Controller General of Customs gave, you know that even the matter of smuggling is exaggerated. Because you look at a country...
Almost everybody is complicit in this.
What is the GDP of Niger Republic? All the cars in Niger Republic put together can't be more than all the cars in Kaduna, Katsina, and Kano. So to give the impression that, all of this thing goes to smuggling is just exaggeration and an opportunity to cover their tracks. So we have been selling cheap fuel for so long. Now that it has come to an end, those motorcycle riders in that place, in Garou, Cameroon, they can't explain it, and they decided to protest. Some of them were speaking Fufude, the Fulani language. Some were speaking French. They were just showing their anger. But, this is something that at some stage...
All they know is that it's Tinubu. And
that was what they told them. They listen to VOA, Hausa service.
Okay.
They listen to the BBC, Hausa service. Those media outlets are very popular in all of those communities where people speak Hausa and all that. So they know that the information was that, okay, during his inauguration, he said subsidy was gone. So they are blaming him, but it sends a clear signal to us that, look, for so long, you've been subsidizing not just Nigerians, but subsidizing smugglers and people in other countries. And now we are broke.
And that guys now will come, they will say they are millionaires, economic saboteurs.
Yes. People are allowing tankers. Remember that video that one guy shot? One custom guy that said he does not mind to lose his job, he does not mind to die. When he stopped them, you saw that convoy of tankers. They were going, trying to go across the border, and he stopped them. Even textiles is the same way that smuggling of textiles happens along that border. I've said it here before that I once asked Dangote, when he met us at Protea Hotel some years back. That was the day he took the decision to do this refinery. And I went to him, I said, why did you shut your textile company in Kano? Because it was the 4th largest textile company in Nigeria. He looked at me. So he said, I didn't know you hate me this much. So you really hate me? I said, oh, no, sir. Just explain to me why a thriving textile company, the 4th largest in our country, you just shut it down. He said, why won't I? When smugglers were going to kill me. And the friends of the smugglers are the people in government. I'm quoting him. He said, we couldn't stop them from smuggling textile materials. When they smuggle textile materials, how can the local ones thrive? So he had to make a choice. Okay, I'll go into producing food. That's how he went into the spaghetti, pasta, the rest of them, because he knows whether you like it or not, at some point you want to eat. When hunger drives you mad, you go and eat. So he went into consumables like that. And as far as he's concerned, it was a good decision to shut the thing. And look how many jobs were lost. This is the damage that smuggling does to us as a nation. Many local industries have shut down because of consistent smuggling. A lot of the textile companies, they are gone. I just hope that this government can help revive those textile companies, especially those of them in Kaduna. I had former governor Shomole, who himself is a product of
Textile.
Yes, he was working with Arewa
Textile Union.
Arewa Textile, not far from where I used to live in Kaduna. And today, all those companies are dead. And they used to provide employment for many people. They used to provide livelihood for many families. They are dead. So now, steps have to be taken. What are the palliatives that we can come up with? Let's not kid ourselves. There's no palliative that you can provide that will go around everybody. The people in the rural areas who grow the food that we eat, in most of those places, there's even no access to electricity. So if Asiwaju were to provide electricity, improve electricity, it may still not reach those people. And if you say, okay, buy buses, the people in the rural areas, do they use buses? They don't use those. Those buses will be in the urban centers. And we've been in this situation before, where after a while, those buses collapsed due to poor maintenance, no spares and all that. You import buses without importing enough spares. They will just die after a while. So, look, in the final analysis, Nigerians will have to sacrifice. Civil servants, public servants, they are not to 10% of our population. So if you make them happy, you increase their salary, you are still going to be left with so many other people. Electricity, improvement in electricity will help us revitalize industries, SMEs that are the real engine of growth. They will benefit tremendously. But the notion that anyone can come up with palliatives that will please everybody, I don't think that is possible. If you do some roads leading to major production belts in our country, a lot of those will be able to evacuate their produce. That will make them happy. So they can set aside funds to build roads, targeting rural communities where a lot of the food we eat are produced, especially in those major production belts like Benue, like the Zaria area, even in Borno State. There are places where they grow rice in abundance, places where they produce fish in abundance. If they make roads in those places, create roads and make those places accessible, the farmers will be able to bring their produce out. And that will really solve a lot of problems for them. But even that one cannot happen immediately. It can't happen immediately. It will take some time. But I just hope that when they come up with those ideas, they will also be single-minded in pursuing the implementation of those ideas. That is what will be the difference maker.
And as we go quickly, the government will have to do something about the biting hunger and the level of poverty, even before palliative came. So when you look at the poverty level, it's something else.
I think Asiwaju even spoke about it.
Yeah, the thing is that there's poverty in the land. So, and that is why so many people are looking for ways and means for them to survive in any way. We are just a very lucky country that we are still working and nobody is laying us on the road because it's really bad outside. So whatever they are going to do, they have to start looking at the immediate solution. As in immediate, when I mean immediate, I mean hunger, how to address hunger first. Because once somebody gets food to eat, it reduces at least 50 to 60% of his problem. Shelter can come anytime, but in terms of food, let them just address the food area.
All right. Like a banana peel, the leadership battle for the 10th National Assembly requires delicate handling. As such, the Managing Director of African Center for Development Studies, Victor Oluwafemi Walsh, has advised President Bola Tinubu to tread cautiously over emerging leaders of the incoming National Assembly. Walsh, who had been a consultant to the National Assembly for almost 2 decades, explained that the idea of a consensus candidate is not flying in both legislative chambers. Something seems to be wrong with this 10th Assembly, and come Tuesday or on the 13th, we might just be up for, a big surprise.
Yes, we should just zero our minds. We should prepare our minds for the possibility of the unexpected happening. We've been around with these people for some time, and we know that they are capable of springing surprises. And Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is still meeting, as we speak, with individuals. He's met with some of the people contesting, especially in the House of Reps. Met one of them abroad. He's been meeting with them just to try and get their buy-in, because it's not good to go into that contest in a divided house. The point that Walsh is making is that there is no consensus. As we speak, if anyone tells you that there is consensus that this will be a smooth ride, that person is a liar, deceitful. Politicians will tell you, I'm on your side. Mm-hmm. You see a person smiling with you, he will not vote for you. Even in school, we did the student politics.
Yes.
Now. We know how people, even here, in TVC here, the cooperative election here.
Oh,
that's where it was the first election that in this company. And some of the things that happened, let me tell you, they mirror what happens
outside
on that bigger scale.
yes, yes.
Human beings will always be human beings. Thoroughly unreliable.
They'll see you, hail you, Presido.
But they will not vote for you.
Election day.
They will not vote for you.
Some of them did not show up at all.
See, I've seen, in Kaduna, there was an election. I was caretaker chairman of SWAN in Kaduna.
Okay, sport writer.
Yes, in 1992. And then we had election. We were to prepare for election just for a few weeks. And my own boss then contested. And everyone close to him that he asked will say, yes, I voted for you. I voted for you. I voted for you. At the time when the results were counted, he had only 2 votes. Which means his own vote and my vote. Because I know that I voted for him. So he had 2 votes. He must have voted for himself, and then he benefited from my own vote. Every other person, including people on our desk, they told him, no, we voted for you, sir. And he was already thinking he was going to win. How can a man with 2 votes? So let's not kid ourselves. Because you look at...
You just hold your breath. Let's take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this time out. Please stay with us.
This is the University of Africa. Here, everybody has a degree of something. But the most important qualification is imagination. Her reason to imagine is slay. His reason is to be the GOAT. Theirs is to take the beat and make it lit. They want to test edgy till it is fire. Their reason for imagination is to add riz in style. And their reason for imagination is just stunt. So no matter what your situation, just use your imagination.
New beginnings are always colorful. When we celebrate the start of life's journey, we marry in colors. With our proudly Nigerian Dulux paints, now available in any color. Express your world however you want it. Visit a Dulux Color Center to get any color instantly.
Dulux, let's color.
Thank you for staying with us. So, Jude, we're looking at the National Assembly election that all is not well with this consensus candidate thing, that if...
All is not well. You know, it's unfortunate when we bring people on TV to come and talk. This one will say, we have 170 votes. We have 260 supporters. Ayo. The good thing is that as journalists and the level to which we have done our work after all these years, we are able to have friends across the spectrum. And when politicians trust you, they give you information, you can cross to the other camp and still get some information. That's how sometimes we are able to say, okay, this is the way this...
Monitor their gauge the mood.
Yes. That's how sometimes we are able to say with finality that this is the way this election will go. Some people will think that you do it with sentiment. Some people on their own, they can't do it without putting sentiment. That's why some people fought me when I said Ashwaju will not win the presidential election in Sokoto and Kebbi. APC member, he said, what are you saying? You are saying rubbish. He didn't win those 2 states now, in the end. So, the way things are, it's not exactly the way supporters of those aspirants are sounding. Supporters of the aspirant will give you the impression that it's done and dusted. They know that you are not part of them. They believe that you will never be able to get information. But the truth is, there is no consensus. This man was perfectly right. No consensus in both houses. What needs to be done is for them to continue to engage. Maybe things will change. No consensus. Adodogwa was, I think it was in the papers today, still appealing to the G7, or is it G6 now, that they should not contest. We still have them in the race. People like Betara, people like Gagdi, people like Sada Soli.
And all these...
They are still in the race. And that, the man from Brene Magazine, Zamfara, I can't remember his name now. They are still in the race. So, if you cannot get them to step down, how convinced are you that they can gang up and defeat the main person? You have to do your best to get them. That's why the man is saying, look, this is not how this thing is. And then look at the Senate. How come Yari, no one has been able to convince Yari that, look, stop this desire to be Senate president? Because the truth now is Yari is swinging people to his side. That is the truth. Ask any honest person in the Senate. He's swinging people to his side. I don't know how it's happening. So what's going on? And it was not like that in the beginning.
All of a sudden.
Yes, we are just seeing him.
It's gathering momentum.
Yes. And it's dangerous. I was still speaking with someone today. He said, look, the way this thing is going, they have to stop this man. No.
The Yari Kalu tickets.
Yari, I don't even know whether it's Osita.
Osita that he wants to take.
I think it's closer to Osita.
Osita than the can. Yeah.
Yes, I think it's closer to Osita. You know, the retired journalist. So we don't know, but they need to work hard. That is the point that this person, I think this is the point that they should take from what this man is saying, that the president still has, if he wants them to support the choice of the party, there is still work to be done.
Until Tuesday.
That is the message.
Okay, I have this caller from Lagos. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Ayo, and then Babajida and Asuko. Because of time, and then because I would like to touch on the two topics. First and foremost, Babajide, there is something going on in our filling station today, even before the subsidy stagger. You know, Babajide, if you go to filling station today, even before now, you buy 10 liters. Actually, you get 8 liters. Where is the agency that's going to protect the consumers? Because these people have been sustained us. Upon all these 480, 500, you still go to station, you still buy 10 liters, you get 8 liters. What's going to protect us? Concerning the National Assembly matter, for me, I'm less shy of whatever happened in the House of Representatives because the justice is not done there. Because for me, I am a supporter of the APC, and then I've been thinking that this thing will go to not central, but they don't do that. But I would like them to fight it to finish. At the end of the day, the central gets it, I'll be very happy. But the concern is the Senate House. If Yari gets it, it is going to be a great disaster to APC because you cannot have a president as a Muslim, have the vice president as a Muslim, you still have a Senate president as a Muslim. Okay, who does that? Good evening, God bless you all.
Thank you, Yakub. You see, this is what Mr. President is trying to avoid, and it's not looking good because at the end of the day, some people will sit down, they'll say, no, it doesn't matter, it doesn't, but the way they are looking at it from another perspective entirely, when you speak to an average politician from the north, they will tell you that, look, their own permutation is different.
You and I know that what happened in the 8th Assembly is really looming, it's everywhere, it's showing. But we thank God that Mr. President is not sitting back, hardly by. He wants to see how he can resolve this problem himself. Because I know the 8th Assembly, the former president, they didn't really, I'm not sure he was even interested. In
2015
he was not even really interested. But Ashwaju is interested, and that is why he's meeting with all the stakeholders, all the people that are involved. Yesterday, I think yesterday evening, even around 11 p.m., he met with the senators-elect as well as the House of Rep-elect in APC. And all he was saying was he's doing this because of the unity of the country. But it goes beyond that. Because there are some people even in the party who were not in that meeting. And those are the people who are hell-bent in getting that prize. And so
they have clout.
They have. Because forget it. We are talking about Yari now. Yesterday we didn't hear about Yari, but today, even today, I still called some people in the Senate, and you are telling me it's gathering momentum. How is he doing it? We don't know.
That's what is even shocking to me.
You understand?
That's what is shocking.
They are not even talking about whether it's religion or whatever, but the guy is gathering momentum.
No, they are not bothered about it.
No, they are not.
When our friend called us the other day, he was saying, he says senators are not bothered about it.
They're not looking at what we are looking.
There's something that is pushing the senators to go tilt towards him, which we do not know. So this is where
we can't say here.
We can't even say it. So which the president needs to now sit down and he has to engage. I think he has not met with Yari one-on-one, which he needs to do. I know he would talk to the likes of Senator-elect Kanu, and he can talk to him. But others, he needs to really see how he can nip this whole crisis, because it's going to be a big blow on his government. Because if you want somebody to push his renewed agenda, renewed hope agenda, and he's not that same person that he wants, you put a serious
National Assembly.
You know what happened to Buhari? Everybody knows in 2015. So I'm not sure you want that. So he needs to keep engaging, because we still have from now till Monday evening. Because I know sometimes politicians can change their mind in the next 24 hours. Yeah. So he has from now till Monday evening to keep engaging. He will not sleep. We know that when it comes to anything politics, he never sleeps. So he will keep going. He has met with the Betara. He has met with all those at the House of Reps. He has met with all of them. In France.
But he has not changed his mind.
But he has not. So I think if the party would even want to step down.
Deputy.
Yes, he has not.
Gagdi has refused to step down.
So you can see that even the G6, they are still there individually. None of them want to step down for another.
I think they may.
Maybe eventually maybe pick one person.
Pick one. They've been saying that, pick one person.
And they will pick one person against the party's choice.
Against the party. They are not going to all go into the contest. From the beginning, they made up their minds.
And that will be a very big minus for the party. So they need to sit down.
So they must stop the gang up against the choice of the party. They must stop that from happening, because if that happens, it will be embarrassing.
Set it back, President. Okay. As optimistic as ever, those flying the Akpabio Abbas card for the leadership of the incoming 10th National Assembly continue to exude confidence ahead of the contest, according to Senator representing Borno South, Ali Ndume. About 75 senators-elects are backing Senator Godswill Akpabio to become the next president of the Senate. Speaking with newsmen, Senator Ndume, who is the DG of Akpabio Barao campaign, insists that Akpabio may even turn out as a consensus candidate. If you are giving this figure, if you have 75 out
so
of,
it means
out of
34 is left.
Out of 109, it's done and dusted.
34 is left.
According to
Ali
Ndume,
so
the DG campaign.
You need to add that. We don't know exactly what's going on. And I'm not going to deceive myself that I don't know that there is fire on the mountain. What Akpabio needs to do is to continue to mobilize, because he's worked hard and he's been front runner for so long to allow everything to collapse at this stage. So he has to continue to engage. He's been meeting governors, so that those governors can prevail on their members and all that. He's been going, and he's really worked hard on this matter. I can imagine how many hours of sleep Akpabio gets at this time. So he has to just keep working hard. All this listing of people's names, saying these people are with me. In politics, it can be an exercise in futility, because they can change their minds at the point when they want to vote.
Yes.
Look, on the day Baja lost that election in 2015, up to the morning, he was still the man to beat. It was when they got into that hall that we now started seeing. In fact, it was leading for so long when they were counting. Suddenly, the thing changed.
Yes.
Godaji Kazaure was even saying, look, that morning that they brought them together, and that they were still saying, okay, this thing will go to Baja. But it changed suddenly. And little things like, oh, let this person be your deputy. Oh, give this person this. Can sway the pendulum of victory.
Exactly.
Because when you now stand firm that, no, I can't give it to him, the supporters of that person can work against your ticket and then back someone who will give them such concessions. Because it happened in 2015. At the end of the day, no one expected Baja to lose that election. But Dogara defeated Baja.
And just with 8 votes.
So
I remember.
So even now, you can be a front runner and still not win. What will make you win is if you remain consistent, keep your base, and do your best to get more people outside of your own core supporters, your base. That is what I believe Akpabio needs to do. He has experience, he's a skillful politician, and at this stage, I know that he knows what is at stake. And some of what we are talking about, after yesterday's program, I said something that, look, if they do, during the program, I said, if they do Senate first, and then do that, whoever emerges, they can affect. One of the senators, when we were talking last night, he said, Jide, what you said is true. The truth is, I don't know whether law has been amended. They've never had the election simultaneously.
No.
Even in both houses, they will be watching. They want to see what transpired before they do their own. So whatever the result from the Senate can still influence what happens. Because if, for example, a Yari were to win in Senate, I'm not saying that he's going to win. If he were to win, do you think another person from the Northwest will be allowed to emerge? That's the point that I made. In politics, you have to look at all possibilities. You can say he cannot win. What if he wins? You know? But Gochinyere said no, that they cannot. We will see whether they are going to do elections simultaneously, because I've never seen where that.
No, even in the 8th Assembly, it was different.
That was what.
First before the House of Reps.
Yes, he said that the law has been amended, and but there was still a very senior senator who was telling me yesterday that the point that you raised is a very valid one, that they have to be on the lookout. So for him to say that, that means he too thinks that they are going to do one before another. After all, even their valedictory sessions are not simultaneous.
Yes. Not the same day, sir.
And they will want to see what transpired. The same issue can happen. If you say if they do it the same time, it's still possible for the Northwest to produce the two of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So what will make sense is for them to even do it separate. So that
they can balance.
You can then achieve balance by saying, okay, let us see who emerges at the other end. Because what we want to avoid will then happen. Both of them will be Muslim. So how do we deal with that situation? If it will happen like that, both of them will be Muslim.
Now, looking at the configuration of this 10th Assembly, as in, say, a lot of people will tell you that we've never had it like this since 1999, and it's just so close, and different political parties and representation. We have Labour Party, we have Social Democratic Party, we have Youth Democratic Party, YBP even represented.
This is the first time we are having rainbow colors, in the National Assembly, and it's good, it's good for us, so that those who feel that the House is usually their all in all will know that even in the next election it will not be easy. Yeah. So even as we look at it, Ayo, when we have parties, different parties, I know that the APC has more House of Rep members. They also have in the Senate, but even in the House of Rep, they don't have majority, because if by the time you combine all the opposition party, they have more. So that is why it's even more difficult for them, even in trying to, push this whole Abbas, Kanu, Benjamin Kalu's idea, because even the opposition are saying that even they can even bring out somebody and push. They were saying that before, but most of the opposition now, they are even divided amongst themselves. But it's good for us, it's good for the policy, because even in the next 4 years, we might also be seeing something similar. Even the APC might not even have the majority like they're having, because people now are more aware. People want to always the introduction of beavers has really emboldened so many people to say, okay, I want to even go into this race, so let me see if I can win. So even in the next 4 years, we'll be seeing more. It might not be only these 4 or 5 political parties that we are talking about. We might see more.
Okay, let's quickly take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. So, journalist Hangout.
In today's world, our lifestyle, both at work and at play, depends on connectivity. Our connectivity depends on the devices that make it possible, and these devices depend on electric power. When power fails, our life shrinks, our work drops, and our joy dips. JRB Solar Energy Systems are here to ensure that we enjoy uninterruptible power, uninterruptible joy. Whether you're running a business, an institution, or just a home you return daily to rest, JRB has got you covered. No project is too big for our super digital inverters, long-lasting batteries, and efficient solar panels. Go. Dream on. Change your world. JRB Solar Inverters, batteries, solar panels, solar streetlights, and more. Telephone 0906 752 1111. Email sales@jrbsolar.com. With JRB, the sun's gonna shine on everything you do.
Get ready for an inspiring journey into the world of Nigerian media and the life of one of its brightest stars. Introducing Becoming the Queen of Talk TV, the highly anticipated debut book from Moriah Afolabi Brown, the host of Nigeria's #1 breakfast show, Your View. With over 2,300 episodes of Your View under her belt, Moriah is known as the Nigerian Queen of Talk. Her passion for speaking up for women has made her an influential figure in the media industry, both locally and internationally. In her first published book, Moriah takes readers on a journey through her remarkable career, chronicling her life story and swift rise to success. Mark your calendars for June 2023, when this one-of-a-kind book will be unveiled to the world.
Thank you for staying with us. This is Journalist Hangout. Angele, so as we're cruising home, we see that National Assembly election, the 13th of June, and then the two houses. So ultimately, if the unexpected happen, what will be the implication for this administration?
I think whoever wins in both chambers will still be an Asiwaju person. Honestly, I don't see anybody running against the government. They are all people that at one point or another have worked with him. They are his people. When you enter Yari's house in Talata, Zamfara State, there is a life-size picture of Asiwaju in his living room. I remember when I went there to negotiate a deal for TVC, when he was pussyfooting, was wasting my time, he didn't want to agree. I said, see the life-size picture of your party leader there, and you don't want to do this deal. Now switch to Hausa. He looked at me. Where is that document? I had to play that trick on him because he was wasting my time. I had been there for like 5 days. Maria, who went with me, was even almost crying. Why is this one treating us like this? You know, at the end of the day, I told him, look at the man now. Let me not complete the sentence. He got the message, he got the thing from me, I signed. So he's a Tinubu person. Gagdi is a Tinubu person. All of them are people who cannot turn against him, even if they take power. I don't see a Betara, for example, turning against him. I don't see a Wase turning against him. They are all strong APC people committed to their party. But this is power. And you know the nature of power. Even your own son can turn against you because of power. So they have to negotiate. You know? And I'm happy. One newspaper just reported that the G5, they are meeting with Ashwaju currently. So hopefully we'll be able to iron it out. Whatever it is, it's still APC that will take control of both chambers, thanks to the law. The opposition won't produce a Senate president or a House of Reps member. It's still going to be what could happen if worst comes to worst is that it may not be the choice of the NWC or prevail. Ashwaju has been very clear about who he wants for Senate, but I've not really seen him talk in that manner about the House of Reps. think he's been more committed to the emergence of Akpabio more than the other people. Maybe it's an emotional thing because Akpabio stepped forward to say he was stepping down. Maybe it's for that reason. Who knows? But I don't still see any terrible thing happening.
Because Asuka, we saw this during the 8th Assembly, and for 4 years.
You know why that one? 8th Assembly. You know what pained the party so much? Because Saraki did not just emerge against the choice of his party, he also gave the deputy position to PDP. They didn't forgive him for that. This is our thing. We struggled, we won, and you now gave the deputy to...
Negotiated with them.
He negotiated with them so that he can get many votes, knowing that many of his own party people will not vote for him. So he negotiated with them. The PDP people gave him block votes. He then picked their person as deputy to himself.
Even the party's choice then was not even around. He was absent.
And they were meeting somewhere.
He was meeting somewhere.
But you know, even if they were around, they would still...
They would defeat them, you know.
They didn't have the number to...
strategized.
Yeah, I think the engagement has to just...
It was 4 years. It was all about how to remove Saraki.
Yes. 4 years.
All about how to remove Saraki.
But it was too late because they couldn't. You know, but I'm not sure that this is going to be like that. You know, we just want to see a house or a National Assembly that will work with the
executive. That will not be adversarial.
Yes, no, because the country, we all know how the country is now. So
we need to fix the country.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think that is what Asiwaju is after. People who will be able to work with me when Nigeria needs them, because that is what we need now. If the National Assembly is in peace, the executive will work well with them. Because we need that cordial relationship with both of them need that cordial relationship. And now that he is meeting with all of them, I know they will come to a very good conclusion and consensus. It might not be one person. There might be some things that will happen which we might not know until that particular day. But we know that there will be a series of engagement from now till Monday evening. I know.
Okay. I want to thank you, Asuka James. Thank you for your contribution. And the master himself, Papaji de Kolade Toju. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. Join us this Sunday for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. That's from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Ozuba. Bye for now.